Hello everyone, thank you all for coming to CDCon 2025 within the Open Source Summit North America. My name is Dadisi Sanyika and I am Governing Board Chair of the Continuous Delivery Foundation. I'm going to give some updates about what we've been doing over the past year, an introduction to the CDF, who we are, and what we do. And I'm also going to give a CD events primer because the gentleman who usually does that wasn't available to come and do that, okay? I'd like to extend my appreciation to the Open Source Summit for hosting this event and to NativeLink, who you might know as Trace Machina for sponsoring the CDCon specifically. Thank you very much. Thank you. Open source is a community effort, and sharing partnerships ensures that we power our success. So thank you again, NativeLink, and thank you, Open Source Summit, Linux Foundation events team, specifically Shannon Jesse and Jillian Hill for all your help. So at the CDF, we accelerate productivity, or we know that we accelerate productivity through continuous delivery. Our mission is to improve the world's capacity to deliver software with security and speed. With help, teams become high-performing software delivery organizations, leveraging open source. Our governance is pretty simple and direct. There's a governing board that is strategic focused, and the Technical Oversight Committee ensures that the CDF is actually cared for. They care for all of our projects week in and week out. They provide the guidance and leadership for what comes next. And it's that information that they bring back to the governing board so that we can make decisions about what to do with the future. It's a collaborative process where we share ideas, we collaborate with our members, developers, and we get input from maintainers, and that drives our strategy and our growth. These are our current members, led by Apple and CloudBees, working in partnership to maintain the growth of the CDF, and more are joining all the time. So, with the mission as our target, you have to wonder, who is the Continuous Delivery Foundation? This week, that's what this is all about, you. The people who never stop building towards a future. That's what makes us different. That's what makes the effort of the CDF so crucial. We are supply chain people, and the world looks to us for answers. Now, by a show of hands, who hasn't heard of at least one of these tools? That's what I thought, right? So the CDF is the foundation of continuous delivery. We have the longest breadth of expertise, and we are looked upon to share this knowledge, not just in this space, but as technologies and supply chain needs emerge across the world, they look to us for answers. So the projects themselves, let's see, the CD Events project has been working on a new SDLC workflow orchestrator, which we will share with you guys a little bit later in the week. This effort is a true interoperability solution for CI/CD. Jenkins itself, they've had the Google Summer of Code again. I think this is the 9th year of the Google Summer of Code for Jenkins. Excellent work, and continuing to be a leader in the community. I don't know about you guys, but my first experience with continuous integration was the Hudson Jenkins fold, and the fact that they are still going strong and still helping people and also bringing people in the Google Summer of Code is a huge achievement. Jenkins Next project is actually going to be changing their name at some point in the near future. They're still working through what the actual name is going to be long term. I don't know if that's actually been made yet. Ortelius has been adding new features for generative AI and a plan to onboard Jenkins into Ortelius. Screwdriver CD has had many version updates and enhancements over the past year. Spinnaker 137 is out. Actually, Spinnaker, because I'm also on the Spinnaker TOC, Spinnaker has moved to a mono repo design, so now their release is actually 2501 with the new mono repo. Over the past year, they've added stability in manifest storage to shrink the memory footprint. It's been a pretty good year for the Spinnaker team. And then the Tecton has released version 1.0. Is that correct? Yeah? Okay, awesome. So you can check the project blogs for updates. So the CDF continues moving forward. We've added a data ops initiative led by Lisa Cow. She will be giving a lightning talk tomorrow about it. And cybersecurity SIG is led by Kate Scarcella, I hope I pronounced that name right, who will be here this week as well, and she'll be joining the practitioners panel tomorrow, so you can learn more about that. But again, we continue to grow, we continue to add groups that are relevant to continuous delivery and look to secure the future in security solutions in DevSecOps, as well as AI and data ops. I'd like to welcome the new and returning ambassadors for the 2025 cohort. The ambassadors as a community are my go-to resource for the people interested in the CDF. They help local users learn more about the CDF, and the CDF learn more about the local users, the needs of the community, and understand what we face, not just as a technology group, but what we're facing throughout the world from different industries and their challenges with supply chain and supply chain security. The CDF Ambassador Program is a network of passionate community leaders, CD industry representatives, thought leaders, meetup super organizers. These volunteers are committed to empowering their local communities with skills, education, support in CD and DevOps. These individuals include industry influencers, enterprise practitioners, consultants, bloggers, analysts, advocates, community builders, local event organizers, and evangelists. You cannot build community unless the community reaches you where you are, and we reach them where they are. In 2024, I asked the question, who is our community? I challenged our outreach committee and the ambassadors to help me understand our community landscape. The answer came back to me with more than just who, but with clearer ideas about the concerns of the community beyond tech. Outside of our industry, on a global scale, when thinking about critical infrastructure, they picture power grids, transportation networks, telecommunication systems. They see the physical manifestation of systems that keep our societies functioning. Our partnership with energy, government, and finance are key to the understanding and future success. Consider this. Every organization essentially creates their own unique supply chain fingerprint. Even companies solving identical problems might use completely different combinations of tools and process. A fintech company in Singapore might use GitLab, Terraform, and AWS. A fintech company in Sao Paulo might use Azure DevOps, Pulumi, and Google Cloud, while a fintech company in Stockholm might use Bitbucket and Ansible in their on-premise systems. Each of these choices creates different events, different logs, different audit trails. Multiply this across thousands of organizations, and you have a system where a number of potential configurations is essentially infinite. Whenever I think AI, I don't think about creating agents. I think about data that AI consumes to learn. Somehow, our role in this has to be to improve the data quality. Governments and regulators have tried to address this with compliance frameworks, but these frameworks typically focus on in-state requirements. You must have audit logs. You must track changes. You must monitor for vulnerabilities. What they don't address is how to achieve these requirements across radically different technology stacks. The result is that compliance becomes a translation problem, each organization building custom solutions to convert the specific tool chain outputs to whatever the format the regulators expect. This isn't just inefficient, it's a security vulnerability. When every organization is building their own translation layer, you get inconsistent implementations, blind spots, and systematic weaknesses. We're not just talking about private companies making software, we're talking about digital infrastructure that modern societies depend on. Consider the software supply chain behind healthcare systems managing patient data across borders, financial networks processing international transactions, communication platforms connecting humanitarian operations, government services delivering citizens benefits, energy grids coordinating renewable power distribution. When these systems fail or get compromised, the impact is measured not in dollars, but in human welfare, economic stability, and democratic governance. In our interconnected world, the supply chains cross national boundaries constantly. A healthcare app developed in Canada might use libraries from Germany, infrastructure from Ireland, and serve patients in Kenya. Taking the time to come together as a community matters. Current approaches to supply chain governance are fundamentally national, but the supply chains are fundamentally global. This mismatch creates jurisdictional blind spots where critical infrastructure components fail between regulatory frameworks. For many nations, digital sovereignty means having visibility and control over technology systems that serve their citizens. But how can you govern what you can't see? When every software supply chain speaks a different language, governments face an impossible choice: either mandate specific technologies, killing innovation, or accept limited visibility, compromising sovereignty. Right now, organizations operating internationally face a nightmare of overlapping compliances, GDPR in Europe, SOX in the United States, and emerging frameworks from Asia, Africa, and Latin America. Each jurisdiction rightfully wants visibility into how software affecting their citizens gets built and deployed. But without standardized ways to provide visibility, compliance becomes a massive overhead that disproportionately impacts smaller organizations and developing nations. So, we've solved this similar problem in the past. Consider global shipping, perhaps the most complex logistics humans have ever created. Ships from any nation can dock at any port because we have standardized formats like ISO containers, universal port controls, and common manifest. These standards don't just dictate what ships you must use or what cargo you can carry. They create a common language that enables global interoperability. We need the same approach for software supply chains. CD events is a specification that creates standardized formats for events that happen in software supply chains. Instead of event tools creating its own unique way of saying a build's finished or deployment started, CD events provides a common vocabulary. So think of it as the ISO containers for software delivery events. Here's what's crucial. CD events doesn't dictate what tools you must use. Organizations can still choose to use Jenkins, GitHub Actions, Circle CI, Docker, Podman, AWS, or Azure. What CD events provides is a translation layer, a common format any tool can use to describe what happens. This means that organizations can keep their flexibility while enabling governments, auditors, and security teams to have consistent visibility. The translation layer is the interoperability at work. Less glue code from integrations. A tool-agnostic approach allows you to swap out tools whenever you wish, add features for many combinations of tools. The normalization puts the focus on DevX and metrics. You get better quality data, and you drive best practices. This gives us the opportunity to unify Dora metrics. That is consistent, repeatable Dora metrics. Let me say that again. This gives us an opportunity to unify our Dora metrics, consistent, repeatable Dora metrics across different tools and combinations of tools. You will always be able to measure it consistently the same way. We've also added branch initial commit, a new CD event specific to supporting Dora metrics. Imagine what that power can do for your IDP. Add and swap tools while maintaining a consistent data structure, all under a single pane of glass. But on a global scale. For traditional industries, what does it mean? If everyone could share the same data structure. Standardization enables new forms of collaborations. Think about it. Threat intelligence sharing, where security indicators can be automatically correlated across different organizations' supply chains. Regulatory compliance that works the same way regardless of which country you're operating in. Cross-sector coordination, where financial institutions, healthcare providers, and government agencies can share supply chain visibility without exposing sensitive details. Rapid incident response, where the impact of vulnerabilities can be assessed globally in real time. We have an opportunity to create a world where any government can instantly access the security posture of software systems that they're serving their citizens. Organizations can seamlessly comply with multiple regulatory frameworks through a single standardized approach. Security vulnerabilities can be traced and contained globally within hours of discovery. Developing nations can participate fully in the digital economy without massive compliance overhead. This isn't utopian thinking. This is entirely achievable with the technology and standards we're building today. The CD events roadmap, we're adding support for approval services, composite releases. We are improving the namespacing and adding something called workflow segments, which is going to be crucial to our long-term interoperability story. We're moving forward with plans to update our SDKs, webhook adapters, and visualization services. And we're adding a link service with the addition of the SDLC workflow orchestrator. Awesome. So, with what's coming next, my question is, how can we help you deliver?